changing for next season. Now there's a risk a lot of our hard work could be undone if we're not careful, so let's figure out how to mitigate this. Drivers, take a look at the developments we have and let us know what you want to invest in protecting. Alright everyone, let's get on top of this.
So YouTube, welcome back. Regulation changes for next season, and this car is still nowhere where I want it to be. And as you guys see, some more failed parts have happened in our R&D department, which is like, you know, always the same. But here we're gonna dive in a little bit and show you guys, you know, how far off we are. This is before they patched some of the cars, I believe. So everything on the Aero is gonna get kaputs, but I have to save it by using resource points, which I don't have. Nevertheless, we're gonna dive into qualifying.
It's time for us to settle down and the drivers below to get fired up. Once again, welcome to Singapore as we get ready for the green light and the start of what should be a fantastic qualifying session. This is the kind of track that eats rear tyres for breakfast, or so I'm told by more experienced drivers than myself.
Lots of low-speed exits means the rears are in for a lot of punishment. It's all too easy to spin them up coming out of a corner too aggressively. It might look great for us as spectators, as we love to see a car driven beyond its limits, but it's not going to result in a great long-run pace.
I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was not feeling this track right away, especially during the daytime practice. I felt like the track was very hard to see, you know, because I used to use corner line to help guide where I'm supposed to brake, yada yada, everybody knows that. And turning that off during the daytime, this track is extremely hard to gain like any perspective of where you're supposed to brake, where you're not supposed to brake. But nighttime, the track is, I mean, amazing. So I did a lot better at this time, but as you can see, I thought I did. We end up P19 in qualifying, so a very huge step backwards. And I'm going to really have to look into where I lost out, but as you guys can take a look, Sebastian Vettel in Q1 is quickest, and we're the whole way down at the bottom, and our teammate actually makes it into Q2. So, I mean, congratulations to him. On to the race.
Hello and welcome one and all to the shining streets of Singapore. Can you believe we've been coming here for nearly a decade now? It feels like only yesterday that Felipe Massa was dragging his fuel hose down the pit lane in that eventful opening race, and in a Grand Prix won from pole position more often than not. Will we see a new victor crowned today? We're here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit today, located in the heart of Singapore. The circuit consists of 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right. It's a track that's incredibly technical, so don't expect to see the drivers taking too much at full throttle. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Rose. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Vettel, Gasly, Max Verstappen and Bottas, Grosjean, Perez, Hülkenberg and Carlos Sainz, Ricciardo, Butler, Kevin Magnussen and Raikkonen, Norris, Albon, Lucas Faber and Lance Stroll. Rose, they've taken a grid penalty, and George Russell ends our grid lineup. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Yeah, about that, Jeff. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do what you want me to do, because I don't know if I'm going to survive this track, much like Baku. Monaco I didn't do too bad, but I mean, Baku was just a whole nother ridiculous story. But if you guys wanted to go back and take a look at that, I implore you, it's funny. But 5 red lights, we're going to go at the Singapore Grand Prix. 5 red lights have dropped. Weber actually in front of me, Stroll's next to me. We get a little squirrely out of that first start go. We have Russell and carbon fibers flying everywhere, so this is where I started to think, okay, if the AI are going to push each other and run into each other this much, it might play into my favor to kind of hold back and just wait and pick my moments, because I mean, it's so hard to pass at this track. You really have to figure out where you're going to pass. I believe that one of the only places to make a move is this backstretch, because on lap 3 you do get DRS, but we back off a little bit because we're just going to buy our time. We're on the hard, or actually we're on the mediums. I believe a lot of people in front of us are on the softs, and some of the back guys, or the back runners like us.
We're very low on fuel. Tried to shift up through the gears earlier. It may help save more fuel.
But a lot of the back guys, or the guys in the back like us, are running medium, so it's a mixture between medium and soft here. And as you guys can see, I really underfueled this car because I decided I wasn't going to run rich, I mean, in this race much at all. So what was the point of chucking a bunch of fuel on to get that extra power? I wanted the grip more than the power in this race, so I underfueled the car. I was going to run it and lean a lot, but here we are, end of lap 1. I almost have run into the back of Stroll's gearbox there. A couple guys dove for the pits. Those are the guys that have the carbon fiber flying at the end of turn 1. So now that's already one position made. Can we make any more? Stroll is going very slow and he's starting to frustrate me. So I look for an outside look here and get a little RGB. He squeezes me a little bit, but I hang on the outside and put the throttle down, and it looks like we got the job done on Stroll. So that wasn't too bad of a shout. We're going to push on. We have Russell and I believe his teammate, my previous teammate in F2, Weber, right ahead of us. So we really need to get our heads down and move forward. Also maintaining the fuel. I don't want to push this car too hard as I need to save fuel. Currently 0.9 down on the lap, but here we are at the end of lap 4. I have to go for a very cheeky cut. I believe that was probably a corner cut, but somehow the game didn't hit me with it. Stroll blocks us a little bit, but we're going to make a diving move, and we do get through, so we keep that position.
Nice work, that brings you up a place.
But I do have the rules set on strict corner cutting, and if you guys don't believe me, I will definitely show you in the next couple videos that I do have it on. But here we are, DRS on Weber. Can we make a move on our old F2 teammate? Go for the outside, which will be the inside look for this next left-hander. He gives us a little bit of a battle, but it's not too much that we can't fight off. And that is us into P16, as a couple other guys, I believe, had made a pit stop. But we're going to push forward. Our teammate is right ahead of us on lap 10, and man, did I ever have a battle with Kimi in this race. You guys will see a couple of the little scruff battles we had, especially in the race highlights at the end of the video. If you stick around, I promise you it's actually worthwhile watching it. But here, Butler is out of the Grand Prix.
Caution. The virtual safety car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta.
That is probably the greatest thing a driver can hope for in this career mode, is watching his nemesis, Devin Butler, retire from a race. I haven't seen it yet, but this was the first one, and when I saw his name pop up, I just had a little bit of a chuckle and said, you know, see you later, I'll take that position. But Devin Butler out of the Singapore Grand Prix.
Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace. Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green.
Very hard to maintain your positive delta in this race, especially when the AI like to slow up and speed up. But nevertheless, we're going to go right behind our teammate, fighting for P12. He also has a Haas in front of him, Magnussen. I can't tell who that is. I believe that is Ricardo in the Racing Point right ahead of us. As you can see, oh, I get a little loose out of that corner. I was pushing the car at this point because I had saved enough fuel.
We need to get past here. Use overtake. Use overtake.
I'm not going to use overtake, Jeff. That's crazy. Lap 14 of a 31 lap. We're going to actually pull it into the pits and dive for, I believe it was a hard compound set of tires. Easy into that, one of the most tricky, I would say, pit lanes easily, because it's a very, very hard left-hander there, and then you have to go up a little hill. You want to make sure you don't speed into the pits, or you get booked basically with a time penalty. And we didn't have that kind of time, so we pull into the pits. We're gonna look for a good pit stop from the pit crew, pull out, and let's see what we come out on track as so far as positions. on our way out of the pit stop. Good stop from the Alfa Romeo team. A lot of guys passing us, so it's only a judgment to see where we come out. And we are out of the pits on our way to finish this race on a set of hard compound tires. Teammate actually gets the undercut on us. He actually pitted the lap before us, so now we're back to square one with Kimi Räikkönen and pushing forward to try to pass him yet again. So all the work we did beforehand might have gone out of the window. Ricciardo, as you can see, in the new Racing Point, very strange to see. But I will say, his helmet matches that car. So, I mean, it's not the worst driver swap you can see. But on board here, lap 15.
Increase ERS deployment. It's time to use some of this charge.
Jeff keeps telling me to chuck in overtake, so I actually give it a go this time. And Kimi goes really slow. He almost hit the back of his gearbox here. Is the scruff I was talking about. We're going to go side by side into this little chicane, or left-hander. And it looks like I might have had just outdone him there. Now we have Ricciardo and Weber. Weber is having one heck of a race. He's in P13, as we're still currently in the P15. So, I mean, we're gaining, but we're running out of time. Also, DRS is open on Ricciardo, but we're a little too far back. I felt like making a move here might have not have done any justice for any of us. But we're going to look for it, and I tapped the back of Ricciardo. Mistakenly, I locked the tires a little too hard. Ricciardo in front of us. I think Weber actually made it to the pits. We go and tap Ricciardo again. And we're going to look for the inside here. DRS is open. He's going to hang with us a little bit, but on to the left-hander. I shoot this wide, and I believe I get a... No, that time I did not get a track exceeding limits, but I mean, I'm kind of surprised I didn't. But I know that they were on. I was very close to getting a time penalty for cutting corners. But onto the backstretch here, not the backstretch. Fastest lap set by Vettel, who seems to be on quite a charge after a lot of those DNFs early in the season. Maybe this is the point where Ferrari kind of turned it around. As you guys can see, I'm in 8th, but I mean, Vettel was really far up the road. He had quite a clear lead, and I believe that he won this by a few seconds, but those fireworks in the distance look amazing. But we're trying to hold off Grosjean right behind us. We have Perez right ahead of us. And he's, Perez is gone. There's no chance of catching him. But I do have Grosjean, and I'm going to have to fight him as I go a little wide and almost hook it into the wall there. Last few corners to, get around before we cross that start-finish line. The lights look amazing with the fireworks. Here we are, crossing the line and finishing in P8.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
I have to give it to Rose. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
Let's move on to the constructors. Our championship leaders retain their position, but their lead is shrinking. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
So unfortunate, Kimi does not get in the points, unlike myself, who came up from 19th. I do believe that we got driver of the day, which is awesome, but I dropped Pierre Gasly. Like I said, it is going to be a big ask to get ahead of Pierre Gasly. Fighting a Red Bull in this Alfa Romeo car is not a particularly good situation, especially since we're so far down R&D compared to the Red Bull. I believe that Red Bull are starting to make their gains towards the front, but I will definitely have a look and show you guys the R&D progression through Season 1, probably by United States. But now it's on to the post-race interview.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. How do you think Devon will react to having not been able to finish today's race?
I really wanted to have a laugh, but I didn't. He's got a good solid team behind him. I'm sure they'll be working to fix the issue.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
Really trying to push the Aero to get a better package, so the Aero package is fantastic, trying to boost their morale.
You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you?
And I'm going to give a little love to the chassis side of it too.
You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip?
You know what, Claire? I'm just going to go with no comment.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Guys, this has been the Singapore Grand Prix. If you liked it, hit subscribe, hit like. I appreciate it. Until then, I'm going to catch you guys in the next video, and I'm going to leave you off with the race highlights. I'll see you soon.